Greetings everyone and welcome back to Sparkles and Blessings. I'm Ducky and we are currently in Quartzsite, Arizona to spend the winter months down here. It still gets kind of cold down here. When we wake up it's 40 or 50 degrees outside and close to the temperature inside the camper. But it's starting to warm up a little bit and that's welcome. We're going to be here for about another month and then we start heading home. Today's story is story number 18, and it goes way back to when I was about 4 years old. That would make it 1963. We lived on Dufferin Avenue in Dufferin Street in Toronto, and that was a very up-and-coming district in Toronto. The new mall was going there, uh, Yorkdale, and so there was a lot of construction going on in the area. And my father and I were taking a walk one evening, and I asked, and I said, "What are those?" And I pointed to the clouds in the sky, and he answered me in German. I learned German before I learned English, but I know he said this in German. He said Wolken, which is clouds for German. And okay, and what were the shiny things? And he answered me in German as well. He said Sternen, stars. And then he sang a song to me called Weiss du wie viel Sternlein stehen, which means in German, do you know how many stars are in the sky? And I don't have that quite memorized anymore, but the gist of the song is, do you know how many stars are in the sky? Do you know how many clouds are in the sky? And then the song continues, God in heaven counts them all the time. He takes care of them, and only God knows how many there are, because there are so very many. So that was my song number 1. First song I ever really remember hearing, and I learned to sing it along with them for many years. So another song, the second song that I kind of picked up and I knew by heart, was quite a shock to my parents. One day they said, well, I wanted to turn the TV on, and well, what for? What do you want to watch? And I said, Bewitched. And they said, what? And I said, Bewitched, you know the song? And then I went through the whole theme song for them, and I'm sure they thought I was a couple of bricks short of load at that point, but they were very surprised to hear me sing the theme song of Bewitched. And, you know, we were surprised either way. I was surprised at the strange things my parents did as well. There was one thing that my father liked to do. He liked to sit at the kitchen table for what seemed to me to be hours, looking down on it, and he was studying his stamps. He was going through his stamp collection, and I didn't understand as a child how somebody could sit that still for so long. And what was it about stamps that was what was it about stamps that were so interesting? My power is about to die, so I had to proceed. Which in later years I took up as well. I got in the 80s, in the late 80s, I got a small job at the post office, and I could see how beautiful Canadian stamps really were. And I began to grow quite fond of them as I dealt with them every day. They were very familiar to me, so I started collecting stamps. And this went on for about 20 years. I collected stamps, you know, whatever I could get. Pretty ones, the better, you know. I like to, sometimes I use them to send letters and postcards to friends. So, but that is another story. That is another story, and we will continue that. My name's Ducky. This has been story number 18, and I want to thank you for joining me. Please join me again. Ducky out.